I'm Lisa Chan at San Quentin State Prison. While you've probably seen it in the movies and on TV, I am here to tell you about something you probably haven't heard of. It's a program called The Last Mile, and it started here to help incarcerated individuals get tech jobs once they get out. Isaiah Love grew up in Berkeley. In 2007, he got involved in the justice system when he was 22 years old.
I was sentenced to 28 years for robbery, and I served, so basically they gave me 8 years for those 4 robberies and 20 years in gun enhancements. 28 years, I'm like, okay, my life is over. I looked at that as like pretty much a life sentence.
Isaiah spent 10 months in solitude, and during that time, he says something within him changed.
Something within that time and that hole, it just like I changed, a gear shifted, and I was like, you know what, like I'm not accepting this fate, you know what I mean?
Isaiah reflected on the person he wanted to be and says when he came out of solitude, he was purpose-driven. He started a leadership program and brainstormed with others on how they could learn to code in prison. Then his mom told him about The Last Mile. Sydney Heller is the executive director.
The Last Mile is a nonprofit that focuses on in-prison technical boot camps and reentry services for our graduates after they're released.
It was started as an entrepreneurship program at San Quentin by 2 Silicon Valley venture capitalists, Chris Redlitz and his wife, Beverly Parenti. A few years later, Sydney says they changed it to a coding boot camp, thinking this would lead to more employment opportunities in Silicon Valley.
Our program is typically viewed as pretty prestigious and is competitive to get in, largely because our classrooms don't really have that much space. The process for someone getting in, there's a written application, kind of a personal statement type of thing, a couple essay questions that they have to answer, followed by an in-person interview.
In 2018, Isaiah was transferred to San Quentin, and he immediately applied to be in the Last Mile program.
You put the application in, and you work the politics of trying to get in. You wait outside. At least I did, right? I waited outside of a PIA sometime just to meet John. Is like, how you doing? Just so I can put a face to my name, because you got, in my opinion, like it's the same way I've gotten any job ever. Like I just find out a way to like be creative and stand out.
It worked. Isaiah was accepted into the program.
So while someone is in our program, one component of the program is definitely hard tech skills. We teach them how to code, how to debug, and everything you need to kind of execute as a developer. We also teach soft skills, professional development, job readiness, things like everything from financial literacy, understanding credit, understanding the different types of bank accounts, taxes, and things like that, all the way to how to present yourself in a resume, writing a professional cover letter, and then presentation skills, giving and receiving feedback, what it feels like to collaborate on a project, especially a coding project.
The Last Mile also provides support once program participants are released. They collaborate with tech companies to build pipelines to employment, which look like apprenticeships. Isaiah was recommended for early release after serving 13 years and returned home in December of 2020.
TLM, one of the things they do, they have you, they put you in their Slack channel. So now you're connected to community, immediate community. So to be honest, like if I want to I can go to that Slack channel and get anything. I can find employment. I can find, if I build my business, I can find clientele. I can find any kind of support through that channel. You know what I mean? Because it's a network, right?
Within 6 months of being released, Isaiah got a paid internship at a tech company and was offered a full-time job after that.
I work for a company called Plaid, and I manage basically their Plaid.com website, right? So if you go to Plaid.com, there might be a new page that needs to get added or a new feature on that page or anything like that. So I mainly just do front-end work. I didn't always know or think that, when I was in TLM, that I would get out and still have these relationships and be building these relationships. So that's like a beautiful experience for me. Like, I love that part of it. So I would even go to say, like, I can almost call them like a second family, to be honest with you know what I mean?
Sydney says compared to other industries, tech is on the more progressive and receptive side to hiring someone with a justice-impacted background.
However, I would also say that we have a long way to go, and there are still, even in tech companies, there are still a lot of barriers, both implicit and explicit, that as a society we need to tackle.
Even with these barriers, the Last Mile is growing. It is now in 6 states at 15 facilities and has 23 classrooms.
TLM right now is about 40 employees, and a little over half of those are former participants in our program. So we very much believe in practicing what we preach, and we would never tell anyone else that they need to embrace fair chance hiring if we weren't doing it ourselves.
1,000 students have completed the Last Mile program. 400 of them have returned home. And of those, 85% were employed within 6 months. Isaiah is proud to be one of them.
I feel blessed. I feel grateful. And to be honest, I am enjoying the ride. Like I'm enjoying it, right? I'm enjoying it, like, because life as a free person comes with new experiences and new lessons. You know what I mean? And just new connections. So I appreciate that. So at the end of the day, I just try to appreciate and appreciate my journey.
Lisa Chan, KCBS.